guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, November 20th, after the Celtics loss to the Charlotte Hornets. And we can start there because that's what we're going to be talking about for the most of this episode today. The Celtics lost to the Hornets by a final score, let me pull it up, of 121-118 in overtime. And they were up by, I think, 11 points with like 2 minutes left or 5 minutes left, whatever it was. They're up 11 in the fourth quarter, up 18 in the second quarter, and they blew the game. Hornets came back to win behind a monster performance by LaMelo Ball, who was awesome all night, to put it simply. 15 of 27, 5 of 11, 36, 9 and 8. He was great. Tatum had 45, 13 and 6 of his own. He had a great game, but the Celtics couldn't pull it out. Late game execution absolutely killed them. And Jaylen Brown, Kristaps, Porzingis, and Sam Hauser combined to shoot 2 of 22 from 3. So that's not a great way to win a basketball game. And Celtics blew a huge lead in a game they should have won, even with Derek White and Al Horford out. This is the worst game of the season. Rough loss for the Celtics to a Hornets team that is not very good.
The Hornets are not a good team. This is a game they had in the bag. I think they were up double digits with a couple minutes left, right?
Yeah.
Just garbage. Feels like I watched last year's team and they made me $100. I'm still upset. They made me wait an extra 5 minutes for this game to be over with. I'm going to have to be up later than I would like to be. I've been up since 1 a.m. today and I would like to be done. So now I sat up and I watched them play like shit for 5 minutes. Tatum letting Hayward get a backdoor cut for the game-tying dunk. And then, of course, they can't get a good shot on the next possession. Jaylen Brown, very rough day for him, 5-17, missed Kristaps wide open and instead pulled a 3 in crunch time. Kristaps wide open under the basket. He wasn't great today either. 8 threes from him, probably a bit much. You said it already, 2 of 22 is not what you want from some of your top guys. So pretty frustrating one. It's really not cool when they don't make free throws. That sucks. They missed 3 key free throws in this game. Kind of happy the Tatum one missed, honestly.
10 total.
I did not want to watch double overtime. This game should not have went to overtime. They had I want to say 17-point lead at one point. This shit
18.
needs to stop happening. Yeah. Like, I know that the Celtics are what now, 10-3 or
11-3.
11-3 to start the season. Good start, but they're still showing some warning signs of the teams we've watched over the past 3-4 years. You can't trust them with the big lead. You can't entirely trust them to close games. Have they been better at closing games? Yes. This tonight, just dog shit down the stretch. Bad misses, bad plays from just about everybody involved. And I am top tier upset.
Yeah, I mean, these last 2 games, this game and the Grizzlies game, you've really seen some of those things that made the Celtics so untrustable in years past. I don't know how many turnovers they ended with in this one, but when it was turnovers and offensive rebounds given up against the Grizzlies, tonight was just late game execution and
offensive rebounds in the clutch too.
They gave up 17 offensive boards to the Hornets tonight. Not very good.
The last couple of minutes. Mark Williams got one. Somebody else got one. Crunch time, you can't give a team extra possessions, especially as you're melting away and letting LaMelo Ball, of all players, absolutely cook you and you have no answer for him. Gordon Hayward giving you clutch time buckets. What is going on? Play some defense. Finish the game. Double-digit lead with 2 minutes to go. I have to watch an overtime and then watch a loss. Unbelievable. At least I got paid for it.
Yeah, it was really bad. LaMelo making everything. I mean, he had a ton of open space and too many shots. And by the point the Celtics started finding ways to get in his face, he was just making everything. And when a guy as talented as he is finds a rhythm, there's not much you can do past that. Their power forward, whose name I don't even want to say because that's just the worst person who could have possibly beat you in that situation. Him and Mark Williams combined for 31 rebounds. Mark Williams had 8 offensive rebounds on his own, 4 for Brandon Miller. Like, there was a play late in the game. Obviously, there was the, Jayson Tatum letting Gordon Hayward pass him baseline to get an open bucket to tie the game. But one before that, I think it was Hayward who flew in, or maybe it was Brandon Miller or Mark Williams. Kristaps is boxing. No, it wasn't Mark, because Kristaps was boxing out Mark Williams. And then Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are looking up with their mouths agape, and somebody flies in for an offensive rebound and puts it back. Like, it's the low effort plays that ended up costing the Celtics in this one. John Smyers, who is a loyal listener of the pod, shout out John, was messaging on Twitter, replying to me on Twitter saying, he believes it was Drew Holiday's fault. I responded, I don't think he's the main focal point to here, but he also wasn't great. He had a rough stretch down the end of the game. He drove when he probably should have kicked it to Tatum, who Tatum needed the ball every possession down the stretch. He had a bad end stretch of the game. He took one shot that Hayward fouled, not a good shot. Let him get baseline, shouldn't. He needed the ball every possession in the fourth quarter. He was that good the rest of the game. Like, there was no reason that Jaylen Brown should have been chucking Drew Holiday, should have been going to the rim. And then Drew Holiday missed those 2 free throws, but I don't think you look at this game and say Drew Holiday was the main problem. He was a problem, but a lot of guys were a problem. Kristaps Porzingis couldn't hit a shot. 1 of 8 from 3. Not only that, but one more 3, and I would have won my parlay, so that would have been nice. But he couldn't make a shot. Jaylen Brown was absolutely terrible, and what made his performance even worse was the fact that he was chucking horrible shots at the end of the game. If you are not playing well, don't take shots at the end of the game. Jaylen Brown took 17 shots, 0 of 5 from 3. Excuse me, I wish I could see the stats, but he was taking huge shots at the end of the game for no reason. Like if you're that cold, know you're that cold and make plays for somebody else. Don't take an 18-foot pull-up with 2 minutes left. Thank God, Porzingis got the putback, so it erased that problem, right? Jaylen Brown missed a free throw in the end. Jaylen Brown got more shots than Jayson Tatum did in the final 3 minutes of the game, it seemed like, which makes no sense. Like there was no sensibility to the way the Celtics were playing offense in this game. Kristaps couldn't hit a shot. Sam Hauser couldn't hit a shot. Jayson Tatum went cold at the end a little bit, and he didn't get enough touches for the game he was having. Drew Holiday made some mistakes in there. Everything that could have gone wrong offensively went wrong. And then defensively, they were just giving way too much space to LaMelo Ball at the start of the game. So he got hot. And then Mark Williams and Brandon Miller and everyone else lived on the glass for the Hornets, which was frustrating to see. It was just this was the worst game of the season. I'm not going to sit here and say everything is crumbling and going to shit because of these 2 bad losses, but you need to look at this and then correct it moving forward, which is
it's so bad. It's 2 bad losses.
Sorry, 2 bad games.
It feels like it.
The same stuff was happening in the Memphis game.
I mean, the same stuff was happening against Toronto. They got away with it. This is 3 straight games of nonsense at the end. They had a good win against Philly where they battled out and Derek White carried them over the finish line.
It's almost like they're missing Derek White tonight.
I don't care. I don't want to hear. And I know that's not what you're saying. But anybody that's they didn't have Horford, they didn't have Derek White. What they did have is 11-point lead with 2+ to play. Just unacceptable stuff. Charlotte's a bottom feeder team. Shouldn't happen. No. This won't matter in 6 months or whatever. But
exactly.
Today it's annoying. It cost me sleep. It cost me some happiness.
The most frustrating part to me is Brown taking bad shots when Tatum was that hot. I really want to see.
Agree with.
Yeah, I really want to see. I want the box score to update so I can click on it and check stuff. But it felt like Tatum took 2 shots down the stretch of the game.
I just
that's happened all season.
NBC Sports graphic saying 5:15, and then he's still taking shots. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, it's Jayson Tatum. What did he finish with? Jayson Tatum finished with 45 points on 15 of 28 shooting, 7 of 15 from 3. He played fucking awesome. He was on, and he did get some shots on the stretch, but there were 2 layups, and he missed them both. So I'll save some of the blame that I'm going to throw out there, because Jayson Tatum did miss a couple layups down the stretch that were huge, and he did miss the free throw that would have tied the game and sent us to double OT. But it felt like the shots Tatum was getting and the layups Tatum was getting was because he created them for himself. And what I want to see is the Celtics run offense to get Jayson Tatum a shot, not let Tatum be the offense, right? That's not exactly what
I feel like that doesn't happen all that often.
I know. What I more mean was I want Tatum to be the offense, but not in the sense of everyone clear out and let Tatum take a shot. I want Tatum to get in the post and work out of the post. I want Tatum to get a screen at the top of the key. Like there were too many. Here you go, Tatum, figure it out. Like that was all the looks he got at the end. There wasn't a screen and roll. There wasn't a handoff. There wasn't a off ball, screen to get him open. There wasn't like a post up. Like it was all just, since he was hot, he's going to do whatever on the perimeter. And then when he wasn't doing that, he didn't fucking touch the ball. Which
The
is
last
not
play of the
okay.
game was horrendous, by the way. Regulation was horrendous.
Which one? The Hauser one? I
They
think
just no, it wasn't. Well, it was the Hauser shot, but they just cleared a side for Tatum, and he just stood there and waited for the double to come. He didn't do anything.
was that the one where Hauser got the shot though?
Yes.
I think Keith was saying it on Twitter, Keith Smith, and he was like,
I'm
Hauser
on
should have
Twitter. I can't
been.
trust the internet to keep my game up to speed, not
I
get
think
it spoiled.
I think what he's saying is Hauser went too far to the top of the key so he could get doubled. I think what the Celtics wanted was Hauser more on the wing so LaMelo couldn't help off Hauser. But then since Hauser was so far to the top of the key, he just helped off of Hauser. And so then the Hornets could send they could rotate to Hauser instead. There was like a spacing issue that was noticed, like when it should have been a Tatum one-on-one post-up turnaround midi. Like that looked like what they were working for in that case, a one-on-one for Tatum, but then he got doubled. And I don't think that was what the play was supposed to be, is what I'm saying. Which is, a problem within itself as well. That broke down so easily for the Celtics. This was just such a mess, man. It was so bad. Jaylen Brown was so bad. Kristaps was awful as well. He couldn't hit a shot to save himself. And he was, he got inside
Pretty much anybody
early,
not named Payton Pritchard and Tatum, bad.
Pritchard, that's another thing. I don't think Joe was like one of the biggest problems in this game, but like, why is Hauser in over Pritchard at the end in those points? Like that didn't make any sense to me. Like defensively,
Probably
I guess
just
you want a little
because
more height, but
size.
Hauser was, Pritchard was 5 of 8 from 3, 8 of 14 from the field. Hauser finished 1 of 9 on all threes. Like it didn't make any sense to me that Pritchard wasn't in those spots.
I just think they probably felt like with tight defense, Hauser can be somebody that has a better chance of getting a shot off because he's taller.
I guess.
Sounds dumb on the surface, but on a catch and shoot,
No,
it's
I know
kind
what
of
you
important
mean.
with them not creating space.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
I know what you mean. I will also say, though, there could have been a benefit to having another shot creator out there because Holiday, Brown, and Porzingis couldn't fucking do anything. So having Pritchard out there who was comfortable creating his own shot could have helped. I didn't think Drew Holiday was, 7 turnovers, now that I'm looking at it, is bad. I still didn't think he was like the biggest problem in this game. Obviously, 7 turnovers, he wasn't good. It wasn't a good Drew Holiday game. This was a game where you probably would have relied. I'll phrase it this way for you. This is a game they probably would have relied too heavily on Derek White's offensive creation because no one else had it. And so, but then at the same time, you have Pritchard in there, so let him play that role because he was on and he was awesome in this game. And I know, rightfully so, we're going to spend a lot of this podcast talking negative about this game, but like just for a couple minutes here, Pritchard was fucking awesome. Like this is the preseason Pritchard that the Celtics have wanted to see all season, that Celtics fans have been begging for. And obviously it showed up because he had 21 points, 8 of 14, 5 of 8, but 2 steals, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 of which offensive. Like he was doing everything for the Celtics in this game. I think he should have been in the game more. This is the type of game you want to see from a Pritchard who should be one of your first guys off the bench, who should be a consistent source of offense, who should be able to play 30 minutes in a game, which he did. He ended with 33 minutes in this game. Like this is the Pritchard that the Celtics signed to a 4-year extension with hopes of him being a regular piece of their rotation moving forward. So if anything, because as much as Tatum was great, he fell apart there at the end with letting Hayward get by, 2 missed layups, a missed free throw. Like he had a rough close. Jaylen Brown was bad. Porzingis was bad. Drew Holiday was bad. if there's any bright spot to take away, it is that Payton Pritchard is fully capable of being great again. And this wasn't a Payton Pritchard was great game, and he had one, decent stretch. He started hot, but he was like a consistent source of offense for them throughout the game. And for what it's worth, that bench lineup where it was all bench guys was good. Like Cornette was a plus 25 in 18 minutes. O'Shea Brissett was a plus 17 in 22 minutes. Pritchard was a plus 16 in 33 minutes. Like those lineups where it was Pritchard creating the offense against the Hornets were good. And it was because Pritchard was on and Porzingis and Brown were not. And so I understand. And I think 99% of people on this earth, if you had asked them before, hey, if Pritchard's hot, would you put him in over Porzingis or Brown? You say no, because those it's clearly two better players. But over Hauser, I think Pritchard needed to be in this game. He was far too good. And again, we're going to talk more bad about this game, I assume, throughout the pod. But Pritchard was a huge bright spot and an important thing to note from this one.
Yeah, you burned a good Pritchard game. It seems like with the combination of Pritchard and Hauser, only one of them is allowed to play good at the same time because Hauser has been red hot over the last week. And
I think there was one.
Yeah, the Pacers game when
they
just beat everybody, made shots. Over the last 3 weeks, Hauser's been great. Pritchard has had flashes, I guess, but he's mostly been inconsistent. Now he finally steps up and Hauser's 1 of 9. It's just kind of a sick joke. I also don't know what the splits are, Jack, but I, off the top of my head, remember Hauser being poor in now both of his 2 starts this year. So maybe keep him on the bench.
He was 1 of 9. 1 of 9 tonight, and in his first start of the season, which was the Philly game, he was 3 of 9, 2 of 8. Yeah, not great.
Yeah, bad. Very bad. The plus minuses are remarkable in this game. The Tatum -5 with a 45 ball on Charlotte.
But I think the plus minuses tell you just how bad Porzingis, Brown, and Hauser were in this game. Like those missed threes, as much as it's a very look at the box score, duh, they're bad. The fact that they missed those threes was so significant because when those guys were in the game, the Hornets were able to just focus on Tatum, lock him up. And if those guys aren't hitting, or when Tatum's out, those guys are usually Tatum and Holiday together paired, and it was tonight, and Brown and Porzingis. Those guys were so cold and so bad offensively that the Hornets were able to use the minutes when Tatum was off the floor to come back and make up 25 points effectively, because Tatum was a -5 in a game the Celtics lost by 3, but that -5 was lumped into the minutes he played with Porzingis and Brown and Hauser. The minutes when Tatum was on the floor with Holiday, outside of those guys, he was probably a plus. It was because that's how ineffective those guys were on offense. When Jaylen Brown is off, he is off. And I think that's a huge reason why there's a subset of Celtics fans who are hesitant about the contract extension, who are down on him. I've been very critical of Jaylen over the past couple of years. When he is not making shots, this season he's been better because he's been a better playmaker. And he had a great pass in this one. And throughout the course of the season, he has done a better job of knowing when he's hot, cold and stopping taking shots. This was the Jaylen Brown that far too often has popped up over the past 2 seasons, because Jaylen Brown was ice cold in this game and he just kept shooting. And it was to the detriment of the Celtics by the end of the game, because I remember vividly 3 shots, 2 threes and 1 turnaround midi that were not even close to going in, and they were just complete pull-ups, contested, awful shots in either the final 3 minutes of regulation and in overtime. Those shots need to go to Jayson Tatum, or the Celtics need to run a play. Jaylen Brown completely stalled the offense in those moments. And Kristaps Porzingis was also bad, but it felt like more of his shots were within the flow of the offense. He was just cold. Jaylen Brown took shots that hurt the Celtics because he was forcing it. And I think that's where the problem is. And that's where his problem has been in recent years. And again, been a lot better this year, but it was really bad tonight.
I feel like the forcing's real. I feel like there were a lot of opportunities he had to continue to dominate his 2-man game with Porzingis, and he just didn't elect to do so. You said, settled for some threes, settled for some tough turnarounds. That one play just is burned into my brain of him firing up a contested 3 while Porzingis has his long ass wingspan.
Was that in the fourth quarter or OT?
It was with the clock winding down in either the fourth or OT.
I'm going to find it.
I think it might have been OT. And Porzingis has his long-ass wingspan fully extended, calling for the ball with nobody near him underneath the basket. and instead Jaylen fires up a 3. I was
I
just
found it
like,
for you. You can keep
I'm
talking. I'll
right.
pull it up though. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, you're
I'm
right.
right. Yeah, okay, I'm remembering correctly.
Here's Jayson Tatum gets double team atop the key.
Right
Jaylen
here,
Brown.
right here. 3.
This was such an awful shot. Porzingis, for audio listeners, wide open under the hoop. Jaylen Brown could have easily found him because LaMelo Ball. You know
2
what the
for
worst
1.
part is? The worst part is here. Jaylen Brown could have easily kicked the ball to the corner to an open Pritchard or found Porzingis in the paint. And either one would have, and I'm not saying he should have passed to Pritchard. He obviously should have passed Porzingis. But my point is, either one would have been better than this contested 3 that just what are we doing? Like, for what? It was like Jaylen
Did
Brown
he hit
was so
anything on
bad.
that?
He
Air
hit
ball,
front
right?
rim,
Okay.
front rim. And Kristaps hit a bunch of front rim tonight too. So I think it was, I don't know if it was
He
tired
might have
legs.
front rimmed the dunk he would have had there. Good point.
This was and again, this isn't me like making excuses for this, Porzingis, but like it just felt like he was short on everything. While I talk more, like I'm gonna throw up these shots. Like Jaylen Brown, the dunk attempts were funny, but like it just felt like I'm not saying these are bad
I'm fine
shots.
with that being aggressive.
Yeah.
On that
I'm
one.
just pulling these up while I talk. It felt like every time Jaylen Brown got the ball, he was only looking for himself. And like you said, he's had a great 2-man game with Porzingis. For the audio listeners, we're watching Jaylen Brown shots in the 4th and OT on YouTube now. But he was just pulling. And that was the one we just watched was a late shot clock one. And Celtics got bailed out with a rough foul call there. I know he's blocking, but like every time Jaylen Brown got the ball, he was only looking for himself. He could have like tried to find Porzingis on the roll. That shot went in, but like it just felt like he was so focused on breaking his slump. And I think that's where the mindset disconnect is at times. Some players are like, I'm cold, let me look for others. And it just feels like for Jaylen, a lot of the mindset is, I'm cold, I need to stop being cold, I need to find my shot. And against the Celtics tonight, it really, really, really hurt them at the end there. And I don't want this to turn into me saying like he was the only reason they lost. He wasn't. Like Porzingis was cold. Holiday had 7 turnovers. Tatum had some stupid plays at the end. And Hauser gonna make a shot.
Throws. How you can pull up
Right?
the missed shots in the box score. You could just watch Tatum, Kristaps, Drew Holiday miss big free throws in this game.
Do you want me to pull it up? I can find them for you. You want me to get them?
Can you actually pull up missed free throws on the NBA box score?
Not in the box score, but I can go
watch it. But
you can go into play-by-play and pick through them. Yeah, so you can see them. But Jaylen Brown wasn't the only reason they lost, but I do believe he was the biggest offensive reason they lost was a lot of the forced shots he had in the late game. But I just think it was an effort thing, as it has been for the past couple games. Like you mentioned, Toronto and Memphis, like 17 offensive rebounds is so bad. And I think a lot of it falls
Charlotte
on Tatum
is
and Brown, but
a good offensive rebounding team, to Mark Williams' credit.
Mark Williams is a great offensive rebounder. Yeah.
But you just can't let that happen when it's a close game with the time winding down. That's what we saw all through the last couple seasons, and it's why you couldn't trust those guys as far as you could throw them. This year it was starting to look different. Even though they looked really bad against Toronto and they looked bad against Memphis, you still had at least one of us believed in them in those games. I did not believe tonight. I bet against them.
I was in, but as soon as the Hornets started getting some good looks down the stretch, I knew I knew the Celtics were gonna fumble this. They allowed 4 offensive rebounds in the 4th quarter and 1 in overtime, which means that's 12 through the first 3 quarters as well. Like it was just a consistent onslaught of poor effort on the defensive glass for the Celtics, who the Celtics were one of the better defensive rebounding teams last year. They're the number 1 defensive rebounding team this year. Like it doesn't make sense why their opponents, they are giving up the 9th fewest. So they're top 10 in fewest offensive rebounds allowed. It just feels like the timing of these offensive rebounds, and it's been more in the past couple games. Like I bet if I sorted this by, the last 2 games, it would be a lot worse. But it just feels like they give up a lot of timely ones. Which is weird because as a whole,
those timely plays are the important part of the game. I mean, on the show, we discuss it all the time. There are timely stretches throughout every single game that can be considered clutch moments. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes within 5 points of each other. And, that's the only clutch.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
it works.
I'm saying the numbers say they're a good team at keeping, they're good at keeping teams off the offensive glass, but all of the offensive rebounds they do allow come at the worst possible time. And over the last 3 games, the Celtics have allowed, I'm trying to do quick math in my head, 48 offensive rebounds in the last 3 games, which is what's 48 divided by 3? Quick maths. 16 offensive rebounds a game.
Oh, you said 48. Yeah.
48.
Right.
That's horrible. That is so bad. Rough loss. Again, like Sam said, this loss probably won't matter in X amount of months, but it is frustrating and it is significant because of the way they lost and the way they've been playing the last 3 games. They have a huge game against the Bucks on Wednesday, and I don't really care because those are the games they get up for anyways, right? You need to beat these lower tier teams. Well, no, I care. I care about it in the sense of a game, but I'm not going to use that game as a marker for, or the Celtics are back. They'll be back when they beat the Pacers by 51 again. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to get back to where they were at the start of the season.
Yeah, they've definitely started to slip over the last stretch here because,
yes,
oh boy, the 50-point wins. What a time it was to be alive. Now
it was nice.
You're having to watch overtime games. Oof. They better win the in-season tournament game on Friday.
Would be clutch.
Which I say with some seriousness because I actually want them to do well.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree. All right, let's go into the emails. There was no real Celtics
do the
news.
emails.
I mean,
what's
recording.
wheel?
Yes, you're right. Let's hit the what's poppin' wheel. Pop Nito winner. I'm just updating the sheet because we forgot to do this at the start because I think we were both kind of
yeah, we were both pissed.
We'll both say a little heated over the game. But in Pop Nito, let me throw it on the screen for you and go to the wheel. All right, not as many entries this time, so you 5 that entered have a much better chance. Let's see who's winning some popcorn this time around.
Literally the last time everybody entered.
I know. The winner, so fitting.
RJ.
Finally get some popcorn. RJ, I mean, you email us enough to know that I'll hit you with an email. We'll get you set up. I assume you'll see this, but we'll get you hooked up, RJ. Shout out to you. Comment what's popping on this podcast for a chance to win some Incognito popcorn. It'll be a good time. And yeah, we'll get you hooked up. Comment what's popping with your comment, and you'll be entered in the next giveaway for some popcorn. I guess I'll leave in Popnito on the screen, though, because it is what's popping time. It is time to check in with our emails. Let's see what people had to say. And if my memory serves correct, we do have plenty of emails from our guy RJ anyway. So I think we'll be seeing some stuff from him here. Let me share screen here and we'll go to the email. What's poppin'? Play up. This was 2 days ago. Evening, gents, watching the Memphis San Antonio game tonight. And I think that as long as Celtics take them seriously as an opponent, we might see a 50-point margin of victory. Oh no. This was before the Grizzlies game, which the Celtics won by 2. Grizz lack both talent and connectedness. If Coach Mazzulla points out to the refs their tendency to use 2 hands on check screen, Celtics may be able to Geno time midway through the third, even without Jaylen. Stupid tournament courts. Be well. Age like milk. Sorry, RJ. We don't read these before we go on the show, but it's nice to see the reflection. So you'll get up next time.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Next email from Jesse Kennedy, new emailer. Hello, how we doing? What's up, Jack and Sam? Been listening to you guys for a while now, and I tune into the Garden Report, A-List, Locked On, Celtics Lab, etc. You guys put together some good and fresh content. I drive around for work and it's something to look forward to. I've been bleeding green since 2002. I almost never miss games. I stream them and not paying league pass respect. I'm 37, grew up in West Roxbury / Roslindale, and I'm in San Diego now for the past 4 years. Fuck the cold. Fuck Julius Randle. Sam, keep talking shit. Jack, fuck them sniffle haters. Jesse. Thanks, Jesse. We appreciate you for the email. Next one, I believe, is going right back to RJ. Shocker. I just got to mark something down real quick and then I'll read it. Okay, RJ, never again. I swear. I'm leaving the halftime hot takes to Sam. That's all there is to it. Props to Memphis for coming back. This was a reply to his Memphis Grizzlies prediction. Yeah, sorry, RJ. Sorry about that one, buddy. Knuckleheads email from Philip Hart. Hi, guys. There may be no duo who can collectively clown on opposing players better than you two. Shout out to Nick Wright, too. So why not encourage you guys to do it more? Ooh. Let's rank the dumbest players in the NBA. For clarity, I do not mean
I like
insane
this.
people, Kyrie, or emotionally ignorant people, Draymond, but the most classical type of dumb, like Mark Jackson, mama, there goes that man type stupidity. I like that. I base this both on on-court decisions and interviews mostly, excuse me. Here are the candidates that I propose. Please feel free to add or exclude anybody. Then please debate who is the dumbest. Here are the candidates. Julius Randle, Jordan Poole, Rudy Gobert, Jordan Clarkson, Dylan Brooks, Andre Drummond, and low-key Klay Thompson. Let the rankings begin. Thanks and all the best, Phil. Now, before we do this, anybody you would like to add or exclude?
J.R. Smith. JaVale McGee.
Good. Okay. I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's anybody else I would want to include. James Harden, maybe. I'll throw James Harden on there. I want to exclude Rudy Gobert because he's actually playing really well this season for the Timberwolves. Like he's found a niche there. I understand the inclusion, but I don't think I'll pick him to win. Same with Jordan Clarkson. Like I understand it, but I don't think I'd go with him anyways. I really just think it's Julius Randle. I truly just think he takes the cake. I think the number one, although Jordan Poole is giving him a serious run for his money this season. Have you seen the report from Mark Stein that they might just want to move on from him?
Oh, I did not see that, but I like that. I am pro that.
I think those guys top two. Yeah, I think those guys are top two.
Please trade him for Zach LaVine.
Who says no?
Both teams.
Yeah. I think those two are up there. I think I'm going to make both. Put Grant in the running, but he's having a good season. But I think Randall and Poole are a very close 1-2, and they kind of slap box each other for the number one spot based on a night-to-night basis. What do you think?
I think that's fair. I do like the Drummond pick, though.
Best rebounder of all time. Cat. Greatest three-point shooter ever.
He said he changed the game.
Yeah, he changed the game. That Pat Bev interview was all time. Or is it Paul George? Maybe he was on the Paul George thing. I don't know. That interview, whatever.
It was Paul George.
That was next level. That was big time. LeBron for reading the same books over and over again.
Yeah, LeBron can't read. Him handshaking people at the Cliffs of Moore that were going over the wall.
I'm going Julius Randle and Jordan Poole though. 1-2. Randle 1, Poole 2. That's my final choice.
I think that's very fair.
We'll rock with that. All right, 2 more emails. What's poppin' from RJ? First rule of greatness. This was a day ago, so this was before the loss to the Hornets. Hey guys, looking forward to the Memphis game this afternoon, but I'm still thinking about the almost stinker in Toronto. Well, do we got news for you, RJ? Everyone wants to be great, and while there are lots of positive steps to take that get to the level, the first thing to do seems obvious at the point of being almost counterintuitive. Don't do things that suck. This isn't don't be bad.
Great.
Everyone can have a night where your shooting is off or you're a half step behind on defense. No, not sucking means looking at your own bad habits and reducing and eliminating them. One of the reasons this year's Celtics look and feel better than last year's squad is that they've cut back things on that suck, like not rebounding as a team. Yikes. Throwing the ball away. Yikes. Dribble, three possessions.
Perfect. RJ had the crystal ball out.
Perimeter only passing, no penetration or post-ups. Yike. And slow to initiate the offense. They've been better at this because they chuck a lot of threes. Watching the C's this year, they've improved on all of these. Sucking less means it's easier for you to be great more often, which is why in the third quarter against Toronto was the B-ball equivalent of fingernails on a chalkboard. A stroll into the front court, early threes, getting outnumbered on the glass, early threes. It was all there. After the second quarter's demonstration of beautiful basketball, I was expecting more of the same. I hope the flight to Memphis afforded the coaching staff some time to hit on all of these teachable moments. This year's team has it in them to be the best Celtics squad since '86. The only thing standing in their way is themselves. Be well. This aged so beautifully, and I'm so glad I read it.
This is like when Adam Silver, that time he told John not to show a gun on Instagram, and then he went and did it again. So RJ told the Celtics not to do all these things, and then they said, hey, look, we're going to give up offensive rebounds. We'll turn the ball over a couple dumb times down the stretch.
Yeah.
Jaylen, Porzingis waving his arms wide open, dribble. Well, actually, I don't even know if it was dribble 3, but it was a perimeter only pass, early chuck 3.
2 for 1.
And 2 for 1. Yep, have to do the 2 for 1 and slowly initiate the offense on that final regulation possession with Tatum dribbling with his back to Hayward for a little bit too long before moving.
Yeah, agree. This is, you ever seen That's So Raven? This is just,
Yeah. Whoa.
oh, baby. Last one, and I'm going to give you a nice little insight into what's next. RJ sent us an email after the game, so let's see what he had to say about the Hornets game. Let's poppin', play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Evening, guys, multiple choice quiz. Why did the Celtics lose in Charlotte? Losing on the offensive glass, 11-17, missing 10 free throws, not passing the ball enough, only 19 assists, or D, all of the above. I'm going with D. Coach Mazzulla gives extra credit for the 5 for 8 Pritchard on the bench, leaving the 1 for 9 Sam Hauser in the game, taking the final 3. You and me both. Handshake, RJ. Actually, double extra credit for the coach because when Holiday came in for Pritchard with 5:26 left, the Celtics were up 191. How often do you see the second leading scorer sit out in the last 5 minutes of the game, only to sub back in to start OT? I would still play Holiday over Pritchard. It's the Hauser for Pritchard that was the problem for me. Holiday's too good. I don't care if he's having a rough night. He's an all-star. But that's just my opinion. But as much as all of that contributed, the Celtics were still up by 9 with 120 remaining in the final 140 seconds. They did not score, including Drew Holiday's unfortunate Grant Williams impersonation at the line. While the Hornets out-rebounded the Celtics 4-0. It was the return of late season 2023, ugly as ever. Be well. Sam, would you consider living in Ireland until the Celtics win the championship? Thoughts?
This is bad because I came back and they lost.
This is true. I forgot about that. I told you it's good. That was my fault too. I'll hand up.
I was really concerned about this. Not a good start. I've actually been miserable since I got back. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, really. Let's move on.
Whatever. It's not for this part of the show.
Let's go to the NBA portion of the show. And instead of a NBA around the league check-in, let's do a NBA standings check-in. That way it'll go by a little quicker. We can see where our predictions are going for the season. So let me pull up the spreadsheet RJ has so kindly made for us. Shout out RJ, legend of the program. I just pulled up the spreadsheet for my family's Thanksgiving potluck. That's not what I wanted. Where is the thing RJ made? Here it is. Sorry. Here is the spreadsheet with NBA current standings. I don't know if this is currently updated to the actual standings. The last time this was updated was 11-17, but it's close enough for us to take a look. So start of the season, I said top 3, or we'll go top 4 to start. I had Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, New York. Sam had Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Miami. Right now, it is roughly Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, Miami. So close, Philly, a little bit better than consensus for us two. I think the rest of our Eastern Conference predictions were pretty safe, though. 5 through 8 for both of us was Philly, Miami, Atlanta, Indiana. You had Philly, New York, Orlando, Indiana. So pretty close. We both hit on the Indiana, Orlando jumps because right now it is Indiana, Orlando, New York, Cleveland. Brooklyn's a tiny bit worse than we both thought they would be. I had them at 9. You had them at 10. And then the rest of it, you had Detroit at 11. I had them at 13. But the bottom of the East is the bottom of the East for us.
They are at 15.
They are at 15.
Yes, they are.
But we both got the tiers. We'll call it the tiers of the East, correct? We were on par. Out West, I had Denver, Phoenix, Lakers, Warriors. Sam had Denver, Phoenix, Clippers, Warriors. Right now, or roughly right now, I should say, it is Denver, Dallas, Minnesota, Oklahoma City. So a lot of weird stuff happening out West. A lot of weird stuff. Warriors struggling mightily. They are 6-8 right now, which is brutal. Next tier in the 5 through 8. I had, getting confused here. Memphis, OKC, Sacramento, Clippers. Sam had Lakers, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, Memphis. Obviously, Memphis has been struggling. Right now, it is Sacramento, Houston, Lakers, New Orleans. Shout out to you for getting the Pelicans higher up there, at least for now. I was more down on them. And then, again, the bottom of the West.
Great. They beat Denver.
They did. That they did. Bottom of the West, however, is an absolute shit show. Houston's much better than everyone thought, but Portland, Memphis, San Antonio, bad. Clippers, Utah, Phoenix, Golden State, all bad as well. Standings are weird right now. It feels like the East is shaping out into what a lot of people expected it to be, but the West is a complete shit show. Also, just quickly, just because he made the sheet, so respect. RJ is on par with the East, just like we were. He had Orlando, Indiana, 8-9 roughly, and he had the bottom 5. He was way down on Houston. but they are back up. He was very high in Minnesota, so respect to RJ. He had him at 3, and they're popping. He had OKC way up here, not as high on Dallas. They've outperformed a bit, and then the Lakers in 12. RJ is, I guess, right now pretty good. I don't know where they're at. They are in 9, so you're closer than we are. But RJ hitting and missing on similar stuff to Sam and I. But let's move on to our next piece of NBA news here, which I believe is the Bulls. The first thing we have on here. No, it is. Yes, it is. So, do you want to do this? You put it on the sheet, or do you want me to?
Yeah. So, little update from the Bulls. Now, if you asked me, this is not a very surprising report, but it is news because we learned it. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, Alex Caruso and Pat Williams are quote unquote generating the most November trade curiosity from rival teams. Among all of the Bulls, they are. In fact, Stein noted, Caruso, quote unquote, would have a double-digit list of trade suitors if the Bulls decided to make him available, which they haven't. Not mentioned Zach LaVine. Shocker. Bad contract, losing player, nobody wants him. Meanwhile, Caruso, good contract, hard-nosed defensive winning player, and people want him. Are we surprised?
I agree. And also, Zach LaVine, for what it's worth, this was from Casey Johnson of NBC Sports Chicago. After the Bulls' recent big comeback win over the Heat, didn't do post-game stuff. He just walked off the court, and apparently Billy Donovan and everyone were like mad at him. They were like really pissed with the way he acted and carried himself.
He is one of the greats.
He said it was a miscommunication with the Bulls PR staff, but the video showed him literally shaking off his PR person, like ignoring
miscommunication. Himself. He didn't want to do it, and they thought he might do it, and then he had to tell them no.
No, but I think Caruso, if the Bulls don't trade Caruso, the Bulls are fucking stupid, man. I'm so done with the Bulls. They're so ass. I have to write about them. And I'm very happy that I get to write about basketball for a living, but holy shit, they're bad. They're losing by 22 to the Heat right now. And you know what? Good. I want them to lose every game so they're forced to blow up this dog shit team. It's so bad. LaVine took 9 shots tonight because he's ass. He was a minus 24. Kobe White led them in scoring with 20, right? Alex Caruso has 13 in the starting lineup. DeMar DeRozan's a minus 15. They're useless, man. This team's so stupid. I hate the Bulls, man. I fucking hate them. I think their fans
people
hate
in
them
the
too.
Pregame wanted us to talk about Caruso.
I'd love Caruso in Boston.
Celtics,
Caruso's awesome. First, free LaVine, my ass. Free Caruso. Get that man out of there. Poor guy.
LaVine doesn't deserve to be freed.
Agree. He stay in Chicago. Have some fun there, buddy. Next thing we have is the Sacramento Kings, who I've been enjoying the season, but they just got absolutely fucking shit on by whoever they were playing. I just saw it. Yeah, they lost by 40 to the Pelicans right now. However, update about the Kings, they might want LaVine.
Good luck.
The Kings are going star hunting at the NBA trade deadline, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic. He said they're going to be involved in every star player. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, maybe Zach LaVine. They've done a good job at keeping their assets. They have tradable contracts. They're going to be a player for stars coming up for sure. I think eventually they could add a third piece. The Kings were in on LaVine when he re-signed with the Bulls. They made an offer that the Bulls matched in restricted free agency a bunch of years ago. And I will also say, they do make some sort of sense for LaVine because he could be sort of a secondary option to Fox on the perimeter. You know, you could pretty easily replace Kevin Huerter in that starting lineup with Zach LaVine, who is a better shot creator and has been an efficient scorer in the past when put in the right positions to do so. I would like Siakam or OG Anunoby a bit more for them. I think OG Anunoby would be perfect. Him and Keegan Murray on the perimeter would be fucking disgusting. But I don't hate any of those guys for the Kings, although I do admittedly I like Zach LaVine the least for that.
See, I don't know if I understand the Siakam fit as much. I know they do play Sabonis at center, so it could very well work. But I don't really see Siakam as a perimeter player. He does his best work closer to the basket in the paint, hitting the spin moves. I think that puts Sabonis in an awkward predicament. He's got a little bit less space to work down there. I think Sacramento probably works best with one guy manning the paint instead of two. But
yeah,
I'll say this. I like OG a lot for them.
Yes.
They could probably slide either him or Murray to that 2-guard spot if they were to make a deal. You'd imagine that Huerter would probably go. I don't really know who else they would have to throw in for salary. They would have to do way more than Huerter to intrigue. Yeah, Harrison Barnes. To intrigue the Raptors, who have been a hardball team in terms of
Yeah.
fielding offers for OG Anunoby. But with all that being said, if I had to pick any team to make a deal this year, I would love to see it be the Kings, because I think the Kings have proven to everybody that they are a good team. We saw a crazy showing from Fox earlier this week, and they need a legitimate second punch. They can get away with not adding that second punch, especially if it is Zach LaVine that is the rumored guy, by just continuing to solidify the supporting cast with somebody like OG, who in his own right could be a nice secondary punch, or at least tertiary if you want Sabonis to remain that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Also, sorry, I got distracted. The Celtics just tweeted, "This was an atypical loss for us in Charlotte," and I just want to scream, "No, it fucking wasn't, buddy. It's what you did all of last year." What do you mean atypical? Maybe atypical for this group, but oh boy, what a disaster! Did you hear what I said about the Celtics tweet? I don't know if you cut out at that exact moment.
I sure did.
Yeah. The Celtics tweeted out, "This was an atypical loss for us in Charlotte," and I'm like, "Was it though? Was it atypical?
Oh no,
Was this different?" So. I can imagine they're getting cooked. Sorry, I just had to bring that back up because I saw that you paused. Anyways, next thing we have, Patrick Williams spoke about the Wizards. Patrick Beverly spoke about the Wizards. Sorry. He said, "Shit show. I mean, they lose a ton of games. Shit shouldn't happen. I don't give a fuck who you are. The greats, that wouldn't happen. It's not happen. You need good vets." And you know what, Patrick Beverly? I think we all knew this.
I thought the Wizards were good, though. But now that he mentioned it, they do lose a lot of games.
They do.
They did just, I believe, get eliminated from the in-season tournament, which kind of sucks. Because with fun young players like Jordan Poole and also Kyle Kuzma, who's almost 30, you really could have got your fan base excited about something with this new competition. But they also could use some good vets, you know, maybe somebody like,
you know what I'd ask him? You know what I'd ask Patrick Beverly? Are you volunteering? Are you putting your hand up to go there and be their vet? Like, what are we doing?
You'd be like, hell no.
You'd be like, yeah, fuck no,
absolutely
I don't want to go.
not.
What vets want to go? Didn't they waive Taj Gibson at the start of the season? I wonder if Taj Gibson was like, you motherfuckers better not fucking bring me on this team.
Probably. He probably didn't want to spend time there.
Man. Yeah, the Wizards suck. I mean, this is Patrick Beverly letting everybody know the sky's blue. Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, it would be sick if the Wizards ripped off like 10 straight wins.
Yeah. Also, we didn't talk about this in the Celtics thing. Very brief. The clock got messed up. You know how everyone was mad, like the clock in the last play. Who fucking cares? Like yes, it was wrong. Yes, they should have had more time. Don't blow a 9-point lead with a minute left.
Yeah, don't blow a lead.
Thoughts on not being bad. Also, again, more Celtics stuff briefly. The pressers haven't started yet. Like, no one started talking to the media yet. Joe hasn't talked yet. Nobody's talked yet, which is very like weird. It's the coach is usually supposed to talk 15 minutes after the game, like go. So speculation, are they having a meeting? Don't know. But we're about to go into the rat list, so you'll have to hear about that on the next episode about them Celtics. Let's jump into the rat list here. And you just got back from Ireland, and I know you're very tired, so I'm going to let you kick it off to get any steam off your chest.
The internet still fucking sucks here. I forgot.
You miss Wi-Fi? Hotel Wi-Fi? You miss it?
Do I miss hotel Wi-Fi? I do. I really do.
That's so
what was great about hotel Wi-Fi is I could talk to Jack forever and I wouldn't lag. But I came home and we did the show today and it took me 4 minutes. 4 minutes to lag.
I'm half tempted to like edit in your outburst, just like take out the silence, but just have you go and then go fucks. You just fucking jump right back into the pod.
It didn't even start with us recording. I was trying to watch the game downstairs, and you get the little buffering circle on the TV. It needs to come to an end.
That's a disaster. That's a rough one. What am I gonna rat list? Oh, I'm gonna rat list not Danny, but the situation he unintentionally put me in. So I went out for drinks. I went out in Boston on Saturday. It was great. I got the perfect level of drunk where I was happy. And I'm not a big drinker. I know Sam, you're not a drinker at all. I don't like drink a lot. Like I'll drink on the weekends every once in a while, like every 2 weeks, every week, whatever. Like I'll
Yeah,
drink.
not very often.
No. I went out to a bar with Danny and his buddies. It was good. Got some food, made some bets, had a good time. Whatever. We go to the next bar, and on the way to the next bar, or before we left, Danny goes, "Yeah, so these guys, my friend's girlfriend's roommate is friends with somebody who went to high school with. We're going out with her, right? It was one of those, friend of a friend, whatever." So he goes, "Yeah, this girl that we graduated with in high school, is gonna be at the bar we're going at. Like we're going out, like she's part of the group or whatever. Like we're gonna see them there." And I'm
All
like,
right.
okay, that's weird. And like, keep in mind, I wasn't very social in high school, so I'd never spoken to this
Right.
girl. It was whatever. We get there, and I find out that we weren't going to see this girl at the bar. It was this girl's birthday,
Oh
and
no.
she was having a lot of friends come to the bar for her birthday. So there were at least 20 people I went to high school with at the bar.
Happy birthday from HBTC to you. We wish it was our birthday so we
Oh.
could party too. Put the hats on.
I end up standing in the corner with Danny's friends.
Love the corner.
And it was like I still had fun. It
Big
was still a
corner
great
guy
night.
myself.
Exactly. Still had a great night. It was good. We didn't interact with him much throughout the night regardless. But when Danny is very social, so he went out to talk to them for a little while, and I stood with Danny's friends, who I've become like I'm friends with them. I'm good enough friends with them where I can have a conversation, whatever. I turned to them, I go, "Guys, this is my second time meeting you. I think I've spoken more to you than anybody that is at this bar tonight that I went to high school with." And they laugh, and then we played a drinking game. So anybody who listens to the show knows I was not a sports guy in high school, wasn't built for it. I did Glee Club, I did show choir.
Yep.
And so while me talking basketball is very normal to anybody who listens to the show, normal for Sam, normal to anybody.
Yep.
Anybody I went to high school with, me covering the Celtics is like the biggest fucking pivot they could possibly think. Like it is the most they're like, what the fuck?
It being successful at it.
Yeah. Well, relative. We'll get there. But
Well, you had the
they come
guy
up to
say
me.
that he hated your bars, but he still rocks with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the stamp of rule. But we
I love
played
that comment.
we played a drinking game where anytime anybody from my high school asked me about the Celtics, we took a drink, and it was very helpful.
Isn't that the worst?
And
Like,
anybody,
listen. Finish.
Anybody, I don't know if anybody from my high school listens to this, because I've had people from my high school like say like, "Oh, we like the podcast," whatever. I don't mind talking about the Celtics. Like it is whatever. I'm fine to have small talk. I like the Celtics, right? Obviously, I like the Celtics because I cover them. So I'm fine to talk shop about the Celtics for 5 minutes. But it was just like that was always like, "Oh yeah, I see your tweets. Oh yeah, dude, Celtics." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, man. That's I'm the Celtics guy now," which is just funny.
That
So,
stuff's
go
fine.
ahead.
I love when you like somebody wants to talk to you about the Celtics, and they're just like, "What do you think? What do I think about what?"
I mean, they're good, man. Well, because the issue is, I talk about the Celtics so often and in such niche, minute
Yes.
details that
Correct.
it is almost hard for me to generalize my thoughts.
Me too, and I'm the dumb one. Like people like will ask me stuff, and I'm like, I really don't know what to say to you because I really don't know how in depth I should go before I start to sound like a loser, or make you feel bad about how much you care about this or whatever. And because I hate when people do that to me when I like something, and then somebody else will be like, "Well, this, and this," and like inform you like way more than you knew about it. And you're
Yes.
like, I just kind of like this, man. Like I was just trying to hang out.
It's like you have to find a balance between, because like they all know that I cover the Celtics, so they obviously want to hear actually what I think, but I don't want to
Yes.
like. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Well, I mean, Jaylen Brown, shoots too many shots. The 2-man game between KP and JB has been great this season. Jason Tatum's going to the post more," and they're just be like, "Dude, they're 11-2 though." They're like, "Yeah,
There's,
they
like,
are."
Like I joke about ball going hoop is like every day, like what I'm thinking about, but
Yeah.
it's tough when people are thinking that. But with that being said, everybody that listens to us, like, even if you may be a ball going hoop person, you're still interested enough to listen and learn.
Yeah.
Not everybody
like-
is like that.
I didn't have any of those conversations that night. Like most of the conversations I had about it, I only really had one, and the other interactions I had with people from high school was just like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Blah blah blah. The only real conversation I had about it was, it's super cool. You get to go to games. What's that been like? Like, where are you living? Like, it was a pretty general conversation about the job rather than the team. So it was like, and again, I don't even mind talking about it in general. It was just, it's very funny because anytime I see anybody from high school, like particularly the athletes, like a lot of these people were like, they played basketball, they played football, they were like some of the popular kids or whatever. Like they were very into sports always. And me, who did the fucking musical and sang Glee Club, is now the one who covers basketball. They're like, what the hell? Like you know ball? I'm like, yeah, man, like Celtics, hurrah. But nah, everyone there was like nice, and I have like nothing against anybody from my high school. Like they're all very nice people. Like I can get along, I can have a conversation with them. I'm just not a fucking social person, and so I've never like talked to them. And Danny, who is extremely social, it was just going up like doing the rounds. He's like, yeah, how you been? And I'm sitting there like, hey man, this ain't what I signed up for, but. I mean, shout out to everybody I talked to, I guess, if you're listening. I don't want to.
My favorite thing about our show is that like the people that show up in the comments will have good conversation with each other, or they'll ask good questions. Like always like participate. There's nothing wrong with participating. It's just for us to be approached on certain things is difficult at times because we don't really know what to say. We don't.
And again, I don't mind doing it. I just feel like it's hard for me to generalize stuff. Like is like what I said. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What do you got? You got anything else?
So Ratless, this guy on my flight today, so we're at the airport before we board, and before they board the plane, they separate everyone into classes, as you do, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. But they do Delta 1, Premium Select, all the other, like, you get to board first because you're special thing, like whatever, Diamond, Platinum, all that stuff. Then they have Main Cabin 1, 2, 3, and then Basic. So anyways, I'm in Main Cabin 3. We've been all lined up for a while. My foot hurts. And then this fucking dickhead guy comes with his wife. And I don't know. You look at this guy and he's just one of those people, you look at him and you're like, I know that guy's going to be a problem for somebody today.
Yeah.
And
like
he's talking
Tatum
to
walking
the
into
agent at
Charlotte.
the gate. And I think he was like Main Cabin 2. And I'm lagging.
Oh. Sam is lagging. I'm just going to talk here for a second while Sam.
What was the last thing you heard?
Main Cabin 2. You lag for 2 seconds. You're good.
Main Cabin 2. And so he starts talking to the agent, and she explains like where he has to line up, and he gets all like bent out of shape because he went to the wrong side. And what did it for me is they have the sign that tells you where to board. On the left side, it says Sky Priority. On the right side, it says, like, general boarding. The man turns the sign out of spite to let them know that he was misled, took 5 steps to the wrong side. And then what do I see mid-flight? I see one of the flight crew consistently trapped over by where this man is seated because he's complaining about something.
Yeah. The
rat.
Yeah.
But, like, the very definition of rat. Like,
I don't get.
The rat list has kind of deviated from just, like, bitching about, like, terrible people. But this is a good old classic. Like, this guy, dictionary, photograph, rat.
Yeah. What's crazy to me, like, how do you have enough energy to be that much of an asshole? Like, don't you just want to, like, be happy? Like, don't you just want to have like a good life and like have a fine day? Like, you're making your own day worse. No. But like to actively be an asshole and make your own day worse takes a special type of like rat. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, you can be having a bad day, you can be upset at stuff, but to actively find things to be annoyed at and like overreact to small things, you are making your own day worse, and then by proxy making the days of the people around you worse. Like, that goes beyond like a rat moment. Like, you are just like a rat. Like, you're just a bad person. Like, what is wrong? Like, those people don't make sense to me.
Jack and I did a half hour on a November loss to Charlotte.
It's true. Good for us, man. Hey, shout out
all you. I was not. I was literally like, I did a couple of these like in the show.
Yeah.
I'm laboring.
So, rat story. Do you have anything else? Do you want me to close with this?
You can close if you want to close.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying if you want something else.
No, I'll have
I
stuff come to me later in the week. We have more rat lists to do.
It's fine. So on this night that I was out, we left the bar / club, whatever. It was a bar. There was a club downstairs. We were dancing. It was a good time. Throughout the night, I'm talking to my friend Danny, old friend of the program. I turned to him and said, Danny, I'm not drunk enough yet. Right. I made the joke, and this was only a joke. I go, Danny, I could still drive home right now. I couldn't, obviously, because I was drunk, but I was like, my point being, like, I don't feel it enough to have a good time yet. And he goes, all right, bet. Walk over, get me another, rum. I was having a rum and Coke, gets me a green tea shot, do a shot, go back to the dance floor, go back to the bar. I turn to Danny's friend, Ryan. I go, Ryan, want to do a shot with me? He goes, fuck it. Go. Do a shot. And apparently, this is unrelated. Now I'm going on a tangent, but it relates because it's a basketball pod. Apparently, the guy at the bar won $1,300 on a Chet Holmgren parlay the night we were at the club. It was the night he hit the game winner against the Warriors.
Nice.
And so he was hyped. He gave us a fist bump, and I just wrote on the receipt. I go, shout out fucking Chet Holmgren, baby. Gives you a fist. It's a good time. I gave him a nice tip. It was fun. But there's that. But we leave the bar, and I turn to Danny and our other friend Zach. I go, Danny, it's only 1:30 or it's only 1, whatever. And I go, why are we leaving? He goes, we just have to go home. I'm like, I want to go out again. I'm like, I'm not done, Danny. I want to go. And so I'm doing that the whole time. We go down to wait for the train.
It's gonna be a time here.
Oh, it's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. Train doesn't show up. Train just like it stops 3 stops later. We have to walk, right? Which we're drunk. It's a nice breeze, whatever. Walking. We get to this place called College Pizza, and I'm gonna say it because College Pizza is fucking awesome. If you live by Fenway,
College Pizza
go to College Pizza
before.
Yeah, great establishment. Danny knows the owners, great people.
Respect.
We go in there, and a bunch of college-aged girls and a couple guys, like, they have taken over the speaker at College Pizza. And we walk in, and I go, Danny, this is the bar I was talking about. And this isn't a bar, it's just a pizza place. And they have taken over the speaker, and we walk into the owner, which Danny knows, behind the bar. He's just going, what's up, Danny? Just fucking bumping the music. And I walk over. We're having a conversation. They go, what's on next? The girls come, oh, play this. Third time, girl comes up. It goes to the owner, who this is like just a middle-aged guy. He's nice, like whatever. She goes, play Slut Me Out by NLE Choppa. And he's just like, play what? And I am obviously like, I'm God, right? Like, I'm like having a good time. He goes, sure. Is this right? And I can read it. And he starts typing in slow because that's what he thought he heard. And I just go, no. That is not what they said. And so I have to like type it in for him. But I'm sitting there like this. I'm like, like fucking not paying attention. And I type it in. We get our pizza. Fucking great pizza, by the way. We get back to the apartment, and Danny's roommate is sleeping in. I'll put myself on the rat list because when I got to Danny's apartment, I stopped there to put my bag down and then meet them at the bar. Danny didn't realize his roommate was coming home. So as I was walking out of their apartment, the roommate was walking in, and the roommate was just like, who the fuck are you? Like, who the fuck is this guy coming out of my apartment? And then we got back later, and one of the people we were with, Danny's friend, was just like so drunk that he couldn't keep his voice down. So he was just going, are we home yet? So I was like, shut the fuck up, buddy, dude, sleep. It was great. I'm very excited to go out again. But we can wrap there if you are done as well. Shall we close it out?
Yeah, I don't really have anything, nothing in the chamber left.
That's fine. We can close with one final question then. I know you hate Christmas. Are you a Thanksgiving guy? Because it is almost that time.
I'm pro Thanksgiving. I don't care for football. I think the sports slate on Christmas is far better because I'm obviously basketball guy. But yeah, you know why? Because nobody annoys me with Thanksgiving. You kind of, you know how I know that is because you kind of forget that Thanksgiving is in 3 days.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, we all know my thoughts on Christmas. I love Christmas, but Thanksgiving, great holiday. I mean, what is there not to like about a fuck ton of food? Like that's basically the holiday, right? Like you just eat a shit ton of food, and so I'm in, right? Like, my fat ass in on Thanksgiving.
Adam Silver, get ready to get fat as fuck, buddy.
I did eat a salad tonight, though. I had a character for me. It was good.
Oh,
yeah. Anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it very much. Hopefully you enjoyed this overtired version episode of How About Them Celtics.
Still gave you an hour.
We did. We hossed through that. We did 20 minutes, almost a ratless, but I thought it was good. Let us know what you guys think. Hopefully you come here to vent after the Hornets game and don't just not watch like you have after some losses. Please.
I want to give a shout out to the channel though, because we're on 3 straight 2K videos.
Knock on wood, make it 4, fellas. Help us out. Thank you all for tuning in. Leave a review on Apple, please. I'm not asking anymore.
Asking.
Please. And I'll let Sam take it.
Hey, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. I don't know why Jack is...
I'm flipping the people off for not leaving Apple reviews. I'm still mad. I'm still...
Thought you were upset with me.
No. Imagine I just go, yeah, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Leave a comment. Tell us, I don't know. I'm sure you have something to say about this game. You can find us on Spotify and Apple as well. All full-length pods will be there. All game recaps will be there. Leave a nice 5-star review. We're no longer asking. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can follow us there or leave a like. You can do both on Facebook, whatever. The pregame streams will be there. They'll be on YouTube. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSimoneB. You can follow me at Samuel France. And that's it for us.
Tic-tac-toe. Come on.